This Fani Willis situation is absolutely wild. Today, we actually had Fani Willis's dad taking the stand and making the situation a whole lot worse for Fani. We still have more reactions from people like Benny Johnson and Tim Pool and the rest of them that we'll get through. This situation is just absolutely hilarious. We have a lot of clips to go through. So let's get into this first clip here from Fani Willis's dad, who is Trump's prosecutor, getting mad at conservative radio for talking about the case, says he reads the New York Times every day. Let's check out this clip.
Did you talk about any of the testimony from yesterday or watching the news reports or anything like that?
Oh, absolutely. You can't cut the TV on without seeing this. The first thing, and I listen to conservative radio a lot, and, you know, last night for 5 hours, all they talked about was this case.
So you were aware of what the testimony your daughter gave yesterday was?
Yeah, unless you don't cut the radio on, unless you don't cut the television on, unless you don't read the AJC or any other, the New York Times or whatever, which I do every day, yeah, of course.
Do you know why it was covered by everybody on YouTube, everybody on TV, like he's saying, everybody on radio? It's because your daughter went on the stand and made an absolute fool of herself. She made herself newsworthy. If she just acted like a normal human, she was respectful, she answered the questions that were given instead of dancing around every single question, then this wouldn't have been newsworthy. This wouldn't have been on every single YouTube channel like Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, and everybody reacting to this situation. Ben Shapiro, literally everybody's talking about this. And it wouldn't have been like that if Fani Willis would have just acted like a normal human when she got on the stand. But she didn't. She made an absolute ass of herself, and now it's talked about by everybody. So Fani Willis's dad is mad at conservative radio and the rest of us for talking about the Fani Willis debacle, instead of getting mad at Fani Willis for making an ass of herself and literally incriminating herself multiple times while on the stand. So let's check out this other clip here from Fani Willis's father. This one's pretty funny. I'm not going to say that word, but CV was coming before. I knew CV was around before. They have announced it in 20, but in fact, I knew about it, and I knew it was happening back in 2019. Let's check out this clip here from Fani Willis's father.
I was just stuck there.
I may be wrong, but I believe COVID hit in 2020, so I was asking about 2019. In 2019, did you spend any time in California?
Before COVID was even here in the United States, remember I lived in South Africa and I've traveled the world. I knew COVID was coming before. I knew COVID was around before. They may have announced it in 20, but in fact, I knew about it and I knew what was happening in 19.
Okay, so let's walk through 2019 then. You said you moved here in September. So
no, I didn't say that. I moved here probably prior to September. I was just stuck.
Basically, Fani Willis's father is acting the same way as Fani Willis did on the stand, where every time he's asked a question, every time Fani Willis was asked a question, she danced around it. She acted like she didn't know the definition of certain words. She didn't understand time frames, or she didn't know where certain countries were, which we'll get to in 1 second. But like this person says, Ryan Hugebrain, if only Fani's father could have warned the world. He's saying that he knew CV was coming back in 2019. I mean, I think it was kind of, you know, there were some cases popping up outside of the United States back in 2019, like late 2019, November. But to say that he knew it was going to be as crazy as it was, I just, it's very obvious what he's doing here. It's very obvious that he's just dancing around questions and doing his absolute best to not answer any of these questions. We also have this tweet here from Johnny Maga as well. That's just kind of a funny one. It's a little bit sad, but at the same time, it's pretty funny. This guy actually whipped out a magnifying glass to read the court documents. Check this out real quick.
Yes, I see it was issued on 9.
I don't like to make fun of the guy too much for stuff like this, because he can't control it. He can't control the fact that he can't see. It's just funny the fact that he brought out an actual magnifying glass. And then obviously the memes coming out of this big Fani cash hoard is just, I mean, the memes coming out of this already are hilarious. I can't imagine how much funnier they're going to get in the future. And like I said, we'll get into the reactions from people like Benny Johnson and Tim Pool in just 1 second here. But first, we do have a couple more clips that are just absolutely hilarious and unhinged from this Fani Willis person, man. Some say the judge lost control of his courtroom and allowed Fani Willis to run it. What do you think? Let's check out this clip here from Fani Willis.
Well, no, look. I object to you getting records. You've been intrusive into people's personal lives. You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. I'm not on trial, no matter how hard you try to put me on trial.
So my question was, do you have any problem?
I object to getting any personal records of mine.
We're not dealing with privilege through a witness.
And I'm not, no, I'm not dealing with privilege. What we had offered to put them in camera for the court to review, and I just want to know if she has any
That's
problem.
not something you deal with a witness.
Yeah, it definitely does seem like the judge lost control of the courtroom and allowed Fani Willis to run it. And you can see this person right here says, breaking news, the judge worked under Fani Willis earlier in his career, per reports. So that kind of explains that there. And now we have this one, this tweet from Benny Johnson here. DA Willis got it wrong again. Fani Willis was apparently wearing her dress backwards. You can see the zipper is in the front right there. Oh, man. This situation, I mean, it just can't get much worse, man. It just can't. It can't get much worse. I'm not reading those comments, but I'm sure you saw it. That was a pretty funny one. So this one, we have one more clip from Benny Johnson, and then we're going to get into the Tim Pool reaction to this entire situation. This tweet from Benny Johnson says, Fani Willis, where's Belize? What continent? I'm not being funny. I don't know. I've been to Belize with him. I've been to the Bahamas with him. I've been to Aruba with him. Don't embarrass me. I'm not sure what continents those are on. So this is one of the situations where Fani Willis is asked certain questions and she just acts like she doesn't know the definitions of words. She doesn't know where things are located that she's been to multiple times. And it's just, she's trying to dance around the questions and not actually give answers to the questions. Let's check this clip out.
Did you and Mr. Wade go to New York?
I've gone to New York. I've gone to New York twice since I've been district attorney. I'm trying to think if it's 2 or 3 times. I went to do a domestic violence thing there for sure. And I was honored, and I went to the Apollo there. Those are the only 2 trips that come to mind. I went. He was not with me.
You also said that he was a world traveler and had been on many of the continents.
I've been to 6.
Have you been on any of those continents with him? Besides this one?
Where's Belize? What continent is it? I'm not being funny. I don't know.
Let's say, with the exception of
Belize with him. I've been to the Bahamas with him. I've been with Aruba with him. Don't embarrass me. I'm not sure what continents those are on. Whatever continents those are, that's where I've been. I'm sure if I gave it some thought, I would tell you. But whatever continents those are, that I've been to those locations, sir.
But not Australia or any other continents?
I don't even want to go to Australia. I do know he took a trip in December to Australia. I have no idea, I don't know anything about that trip.
It's just like, you can just tell the smugness on her face. She knows she's going to get away with all this. Like, she knows what she's doing. She knows she's done some bad things. She knows she's admitted to some things that she shouldn't have. And she still knows she's going to get away with all of it. Like, I'm going to replay the last few seconds. Just look at her face. It's just so smug, so insufferable.
I have no idea, I don't know anything about that trip.
She just, it just disgusts me, man. The fact that if you have a D next to your name, you just get away with literally anything that you want. But let's go ahead and check out this Tim Pool reaction, breaking down the whole Fani Willis situation. It's basically a Fani Willis trial at this point. Let's check out this Tim Pool reaction and also some of the others on Timcast reacting to the situation.
This video is going insanely viral. Everybody's reposting it. This is MSNBC that you're hearing.
It's so legalistic centric and yet so important and fascinating.
Right. Don't let the legalese fool you. This is epic. This is monumental. If things are going in the direction we think, Fani Willis lied to the court, it's game over for her. She will be disqualified. If they had a relationship prior to when they represented to the court, it's a huge deal. I can't overstate it.
And do you feel the same way, Charles, based on the testimony of what we just heard? And we just learned Nathan Wade, who is the special prosecutor in this.
All right, so that was right before he was about to testify. So let me slow down. There's so much to go through here, and let me just state it this way. I don't know. We have this article. We can see what the New York Times says will happen next. So basically, she may have chosen her boyfriend to run this case, giving him a bunch of money. Question is, did she receive? There's like several questions. But one of them is, she filled out a form saying she did not receive any gifts from prohibited persons, and that would be anything valued $100 or more from a variety of individuals, but personal relationships, sexual romantic relationships are included in that. And she said no. When asked, she said, well, it's because those lavish vacations that are on record on credit cards with credit card statements and all the information proving it, we paid that all back. I paid that all back in cash that I just happened to have lying around. And then hilarity ensues as there's numerous questions about how do you have this cash lying around? You're going to Belize with thousands of dollars, and nobody believes it. It is their only excuse. Otherwise, she's basically caught having committed serious crimes. So now we have this trial, and I guess the question will be: is the judge going to be honest and hold her to account? I think it's worrisome that she was acting up to an insane degree on the stand, insulting the lawyers, saying, like, refusing to answer questions. When she was asked whether or not Nathan Wade had ever stayed at her residence, she goes, "My residence? No." And like, any place you live, any place I live, I only lived one place. You owned multiple properties, but I only lived in one of them. Did he ever stay at any property you owned that I own? Stay? What do you mean? I don't understand the question. And that was for like a half an hour straight.
It reminds me of when you read about people who are like they're narcissistic personality disorder. Like she's thinking she can outsmart any lawyer there by just kind of weaseling her way out of the world. It just also reminds me of when Bob Mendez got charged with his most recent scandal, and they asked him why you have all this cash on hand. He's like, well, as the child of immigrants, this is just something we do because things don't always feel secure. Like there was always a spin that you're sort of not supposed to question, and that's kind of what I'm waiting for now. Like for her to be like,
that's what she's already doing, and we covered that in the video yesterday. Like whenever she's like, as a black person, we just happen to keep a lot of cash on us. We like to keep a lot of cash in our pockets, and everybody was laughing at the kind of imitation that I did of Fani Willis whenever she was talking about that. But she was like, whenever you go on a date, you got to have a lot of cash in your pocket in case the man not acting right, so you could do what you want to do or go where you want to go or whatever she said. And it's like whenever she brought up the black card, she started acting all ghetto about it. And it's like it's very obvious what she's doing, because she has to enhance the fact, reiterate the fact that she's black, and you can't question her whenever she brings up the fact that she's black. So that's exactly what she's trying to do. But anyway, though, let me know what you guys are thinking. This situation is just getting absolutely ridiculous, with Fani Willis's father taking the stand and just adding to the hilarity of the whole thing, making it even worse for Fani by simply not answering the questions that he has asked. Same thing for Fani Willis. Let me know what you thought of Benny Johnson's response, of Tim Pool's reaction. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this whole Trump prosecutor Fani Willis situation.